ongoing and emerging geopolitical conflicts, such as the US-China trade tensions, Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Gaza conflict, and the escalating tensions involving Iran, have far-reaching consequences for global businesses. These developments contribute to global energy market volatility, with oil prices and supply stability under constant threat. Combined with inflationary pressures, shifting interest rates, and fragmented global trade systems, these economic disruptions demand proactive strategic responses. Socially, businesses must navigate shifting public sentiment, workforce displacement, and increased scrutiny of ethical operations in conflict zones. Technologically, the rise in cyber warfare and digital surveillance adds another layer of complexity. Environmental concerns and legal uncertainties, such as rapidly evolving sanctions and compliance rules, further challenge multinational operations. In this increasingly uncertain global environment, PESTEL analysis has become a critical tool for strategic planning and risk assessment. It provides a vital, structured framework to anticipate disruptions, identify emerging risks, and craft resilient, future-proof strategies in the face of compounding global instability. PESTEL analysis evolved from earlier environmental scanning tools through decades of refinement by strategic planners and academics. Francis Aguilar's 1967 book, Scanning the Business Environment, introduced ETPS, economic, technical, political, and social, as systematic external analysis. This evolved into PEST, then PESTEL, as strategists recognized that environmental and legal factors deserved separate attention. Unlike frameworks attributed to single authors, PESTEL emerged from collective practice as organizations sought structured approaches to comprehend increasingly complex external environments. The framework's enduring appeal stems from its comprehensive yet manageable scope. By organizing environmental factors into 6 distinct categories, PESTEL ensures systematic consideration of external forces while preventing overwhelming complexity. Each category contains multiple factors that vary by industry and geography, but the 6-category structure provides consistent analytical discipline. This balance between comprehensiveness and practicality explains why PESTEL remains a cornerstone of strategic analysis despite its simplicity. Political factors encompass government actions and political conditions affecting business operations. These include government stability and policy continuity, taxation policies and fiscal measures, trade regulations and tariffs, labor laws and employment regulations, environmental regulations, and political tensions or conflicts. The rise of economic nationalism has elevated political factors' importance, as seen in Brexit's impact on UK businesses or US-China trade tensions affecting global supply chains. Companies must increasingly navigate divergent political environments as globalization faces political headwinds. Economic factors examine macroeconomic conditions and trends shaping business conditions. Key considerations include GDP growth rates and economic cycles, inflation and interest rates, exchange rate fluctuations, unemployment levels and labor availability, income distribution and purchasing power, and credit availability. The 2008 financial crisis demonstrated how economic factors can rapidly reshape entire industries. More recently, pandemic-induced economic volatility has forced companies to build resilience against extreme economic swings, while managing through unprecedented monetary and fiscal interventions. Social factors capture demographic, cultural, and societal trends affecting demand and operations. These encompass population demographics and generational shifts, lifestyle changes and consumer preferences, educational levels and skill availability, health consciousness and wellness trends, cultural values and social movements, and urbanization patterns. The rise of Generation Z, with distinct values around sustainability and social justice, forces companies to adapt products, marketing, and corporate positions. Social media amplifies social trends, making companies more vulnerable to rapid shifts in public sentiment. Technological factors assess how technology evolution creates opportunities and threats. Critical elements include automation and artificial intelligence adoption, digital transformation and platform emergence, cybersecurity challenges and data privacy, research and development intensity, technology transfer rates, and infrastructure development. The pace of technological change continues accelerating, with AI's recent emergence promising disruption comparable to the internet's impact. Companies must monitor not just technologies within their industries, but adjacent innovations that might reshape competitive landscapes. Environmental factors have gained prominence as climate change and sustainability pressures intensify. Key considerations span climate change impacts and adaptation needs, resource scarcity and circular economy pressures, biodiversity loss and ecosystem degradation, pollution regulations and emission standards, renewable energy transitions, and extreme weather events. Environmental factors increasingly intertwine with others: political, regulations, economic, carbon pricing, social, consumer preferences, and technological, clean tech innovations. Companies face growing pressure to address environmental impacts across value chains. Legal factors examine laws and regulations affecting business operations. These include employment and labor laws, consumer protection regulations, intellectual property regimes, antitrust and competition law, data protection and privacy regulations, and industry-specific regulations. The digital economy has spawned new legal challenges around data sovereignty, platform liability, and algorithmic accountability. Regulatory divergence across jurisdictions complicates compliance for global companies, particularly in emerging areas like AI governance and cryptocurrency regulation. PESTEL analysis proves most valuable during strategic planning cycles, when organizations need systematic external environment assessment. Use it when entering new geographic markets to understand local operating conditions across all 6 dimensions. The framework helps when evaluating long-term investments by identifying external trends that might affect returns. Apply PESTEL when disruption signals appear to comprehend whether changes represent isolated events or systematic shifts. The framework excels at preventing blind spots by forcing comprehensive environmental scanning. Use it to challenge internal assumptions about external conditions and to ensure strategic plans account for external realities. PESTEL particularly helps when building scenarios by identifying key external uncertainties across categories. It provides structure for organizing diverse external intelligence into actionable strategic insights. Key decisions it clarifies. PESTEL illuminates critical decisions about market participation and strategic positioning. It clarifies which markets offer favorable conditions across multiple dimensions versus those with accumulating headwinds. The analysis reveals whether challenges are temporary or structural, guiding decisions about persistence versus pivot. By identifying early signals of change, PESTEL helps time strategic moves, when to accelerate investment or begin strategic retreat. The framework guides capability development by highlighting which external changes require new organizational competencies. Rising environmental regulations might necessitate sustainability expertise. Technological shifts might demand digital capabilities. PESTEL also indicates where external partnerships could help navigate complex environments. Local partners for political connections, technology partners for digital transformation, or NGO relationships for social legitimacy. Evolution and contemporary applications. PESTEL analysis has undergone significant evolution since its origins in the 1960s, expanding from simple environmental scanning to sophisticated strategic intelligence gathering that addresses increasingly interconnected global challenges. Contemporary applications extend beyond traditional strategic planning to encompass risk management, stakeholder engagement, sourcing, and sustainability strategy development. The framework has adapted to address complex global challenges like climate change, digital transformation, and geopolitical fragmentation that require integrated analysis across all 6 factors simultaneously. The rise of stakeholder capitalism has transformed PESTEL from a tool focused primarily on identifying external threats and opportunities to one that helps organizations understand their broader societal context and responsibilities. Modern PESTEL analysis incorporates environmental, social, and governance (ESG) considerations that affect not just operational conditions but also organizational legitimacy and stakeholder relationships. This evolution reflects growing recognition that external environment analysis must consider multiple stakeholder perspectives rather than just shareholder interests. Globalization has created new applications for PESTEL analysis that address how local, regional, and global factors interact to create complex operating environments. Multinational organizations use the framework to understand how global trends manifest differently across local markets while identifying systemic risks that transcend geographic boundaries. The framework now addresses cultural differences, regulatory harmonization challenges, and cross-border spillover effects that earlier applications largely ignored. The acceleration of change across all PESTEL dimensions has led to more dynamic applications that emphasize continuous monitoring rather than periodic analysis. Organizations increasingly use the framework for real-time environmental scanning that identifies emerging trends before they become established patterns. This shift toward continuous intelligence gathering reflects recognition that external environments change faster than traditional strategic planning cycles can accommodate. Digital age application. Digital transformation has made PESTEL analysis both more critical and more complex. The pace of change across all 6 factors has accelerated, requiring more frequent analysis updates. Digital technologies create cascading effects. Technological changes trigger regulatory responses, reshape social behaviors, and disrupt economic models. Real-time data enables continuous environmental monitoring rather than periodic analysis, but risks information overload without disciplined frameworks. Political factors increasingly include digital sovereignty, data localization requirements, and algorithmic regulation. Economic factors must consider digital economy dynamics like platform economics and cryptocurrency impacts. Social analysis requires understanding online community dynamics and viral social movements. Technological scanning expands beyond IT to include biotech, clean tech, and other converging technologies. Environmental factors incorporate digital sustainability like data center energy consumption. Legal frameworks struggle to keep pace with digital innovation, creating regulatory uncertainty. The interconnectedness of PESTEL factors intensifies in digital contexts. Social media movements drive political action, leading to new regulations that affect technology deployment with economic consequences and environmental implications. This systemic complexity requires more sophisticated analysis that examines factor interactions, not just individual trends. Common misapplications and limitations. The most common misapplication involves superficial analysis that lists factors without assessing strategic implications. Many PESTEL analyses become academic exercises cataloging trends rather than tools for strategic decision-making. Each identified factor should link to specific strategic opportunities or threats. Without this connection, PESTEL devolves into interesting but irrelevant environmental commentary. Information overload represents another challenge. Comprehensive analysis across 6 categories can generate overwhelming detail that obscures critical insights. Effective PESTEL requires prioritization, identifying which factors most affect strategy rather than documenting every possible influence. The framework provides categories but not criteria for determining materiality. Strategic judgment must filter noise from signal. The framework's macro focus can miss industry-specific dynamics that matter more than broad trends. While demographic aging affects many industries, its specific implications vary dramatically between healthcare and entertainment. Generic PESTEL factors require translation into industry-specific impacts. The framework also struggles with factor interactions, how technological change enables new business models that trigger regulatory responses. Geographic scope creates analytical challenges for global companies. Should analysis occur at global, regional, or national levels? Different geographic markets show different PESTEL profiles, but analyzing each market separately creates unwieldy complexity. Companies must balance comprehensive coverage with analytical practicality, often focusing detailed analysis on core markets while monitoring broad trends elsewhere.